Hello and welcome back to Tarot with AnneMarie. Tonight we are going to be going through the Three of Swords, a difficult card. One of those cards where people go, eek, what do I say about this one? The swords are difficult and the energy from them can actually make people think they want to skip over them, but don't. Because remember, the suit of swords is all about how we think, and it's all about our communication and our communication with ourselves in our own mind and with other people. So hello and welcome everybody to Tarot with AnneMarie, and for over 30 years I've been guiding people on their tarot journey. Today we are focusing on a very powerful card that often gets misinterpreted, and that is the Three of Swords. Many of you viewers might associate tarot cards with predicting the future, but the Three of Swords offers a very deep perspective about the present moment. This card isn't there to scare anyone about future heartbreak. Instead, it's going to shed light onto emotions that we are experiencing right now. Feelings of loss, grief, disappointment, or even conflict. So the Three of Swords can sometimes reflect past events that triggered these emotions, but its main purpose is to help us process them in the present. So it's a bit of a nudge to acknowledge the pain that we're feeling right now, but also a reminder of our inner strength and our resilience. So this is a card that's encouraging us to allow ourselves to heal and move forwards. So grab your decks, settle in and get ready to explore this powerful card together. And we will dive and delve deeper. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences with me in the chat, and let me know if you've encountered the Three of Swords in a reading and how did it resonate with you. Okay, so just to let people know that haven't tuned in to us before, you can come on as a guest if you like. I can bring you on camera, or you can type comments and either myself or someone in our community will be more than happy to shed light on some of the very burning questions that we can have regarding tarot. In particular tonight, this card, Three of Swords. Let's do some keywords to begin with. It's a card of emotional pain, isn't it? And it feels like loss and heartbreak. Not hard to tell with the image. It's a past that haunts them, and it's all to do with previous upsets, which is what I was talking about in the beginning. This is not a prediction of the future. This is a card of things that have already happened in the past. It's a situation that's coming to a conclusion, and this person is feeling heartbroken and very sorrowful. Remember, it's a card of past difficulties. I urge you to say that. And if you want to ask any questions about that, feel free to do. There's been pain and heartbreak in the past, and the painful season around this card will pass. It's only temporary. And don't forget, it's communication and it's what we're thinking. So we could be heartbroken about what we've heard, or what we're thinking about, or what's our inner turmoil going on in our own mind, or we've been triggered with these thoughts going back to the past, and we find it very hard to move on from recent loss or even from heartbreak. Of course we do, and we must need time to heal, and we could still be suffering from an earlier emotional loss, but the loss is something that's already happened emotionally. What the Three of Swords is about is the processing of how we're handling that now, okay? And so that's really what this is all about. Settle down and we'll talk about it. The Three of Swords is an easy card to interpret because it's a heart pierced by three swords, and while behind it we can see some grey storm clouds, and those slashes are rain. So a card of sadness, loss, and maybe even anger. The storm clouds are gathering above the heart and are showing us the emotional storm that's going on. It's brought us to a point in this card that the sudden nature of this pain has arrived. So we're feeling it. We're feeling this loss that's happened in the past. And the storm clouds symbolize isolation, sadness, grief, loneliness, and depression. And they're filled with emotion, watery emotions, which is building up. And if we look, we can see those clouds in the sky ready to burst, as it were. It's expected that there's a bit of rain, and that must fall in our lives here and there. And rain is falling in this case in sheets. So we can imagine that the air is quite cold and sharp as it upsets and descends on us into a storm of emotion. And the rain is representing tears, which can wash away and release the pain to find peace in solutions. This card will bring freedom and a greater understanding of our emotional selves, but only after we feel its overwhelming message. Yeah, you're bang on. Here comes a message from Passionate Saggy, working through this deep pain, and eventually it'll make you stronger. She's right. At the time, we just want to know that it's done, don't we? My whole point, again, I'm probably repeating myself, I don't care. It's one of those cards that I really do want people to know. It's not a prediction of what's coming. It means this has happened. It's already happened. In this card, we're seeing, the grey of the sky leaves us looking inwards at all the emotional pain and hurt. We've got no blue sky or sun here. That's symbolic of destroying the optimism, the hope, and the happiness. And it leaves us with great sadness and a great loss. And as we said, it's a very overwhelming message for us when we get this. Does anyone else know another card that's the past, where we would definitely say past? Nothing to do with positions, cards. There's a couple. This is one of them. If somebody said, oh, is this somebody from the past coming into my life? And the Three of Swords came up, you would know that there's a link from the past. You got over something traumatic with them, but there you go. This is something where we've got the swords going straight through the heart. No slight sort of nick or incision. This is directly through. And that's symbolic of our feelings, which brings that pain and that rejection, which is totally isolating, even if it's shared by other people. I need to mute my interview. Sorry. So it looks awful, but symbolically, that's the explanation, that in actual fact, it's bringing the pain and the rejection into the feelings. But remember, the pain and the rejection is signified by the swords, which can cut, but swords, communication. So painful conversations, painful thoughts, things that have happened that are affecting our feelings. The heart is the seat of our emotions, isn't it? And it holds our most cherished feelings. And when we've got hope, love, and we trust where our dream and our optimistic futures are, we want to connect with that love and those that we love and care about. If people do this to us and our heart is ripped open, it's such unhappiness and leaves us feeling completely lost. The swords really disrupt a situation in which we've lost our faith and our trust. They're very swift, so we're not able to prepare for those cuts. We don't even see them coming. And this represents anything that cuts deep like a knife. And it's like it's in the heart, and it leaves you distraught. So the sudden pain being shown by the image of the heart, which is pierced by these swords. And the truth is, it's felt on a very deep emotional level, and a loss is faced. So the three swords and the three dark clouds create a new understanding of life arising from a storm. The Three of Cards shows an emotional storm, doesn't it? It's blowing and brewing, and it's leaving our hearts broken. Tears are falling, and the nerves are probably jagged. Don't forget, this is in numerology, it's number 3. And 3 is all about growth, creativity, and productivity. You might feel hurt, upset, and disappointed. And the words or events will cause you pain and heartbreak. Even if you don't want to feel that, it'll make you, that pain will help force the truth, and eventually it'll be liberating. You might feel very angry, you might feel very hateful, you might want to vent. You're a human being. We're not just the spiritual being. We're put to feel and go for everything so that we grow. And who knows what it's all about sometimes, but yeah, we're meant to grow, we're meant to navigate, aren't we? There's no other way. If there is, I'm sure we'd all have jumped on it by now. In this card, we're taking each tear as it comes, and we're allowing ourselves to move forwards one step at a time. So you see, it's not about, this is awful, it's going to happen to you, or, oh, your heart's going to be broken because somebody's leaving the planet or somebody's leaving you. Not at all. It means whatever you've been through has pierced your heart emotionally, and you're now suffering that emotion. Okay, so you'll feel emotionally wounded, and life's throwing us some painful knowledge and truths and leaving our mind filled with upset. And that can cloud our judgment, as everything is probably tinged with heartache. So the Three of Swords can actually bring in some anger, and it can be, the anger is towards others, the situation, or our circumstances. We can be upset, we can be frustrated, we can be bitterly disappointed. We've suffered and we're leaving past behind, but we're unable to let go of it. Not the past, but the emotion, because it hurts. And it's often due, believe it or not, rolling around in your thinking. Because remember, everything starts with a thought, and then it becomes an emotion, and it's either painful or, we decide yes or no, and we can navigate it. Sometimes we have to process it, and that can take time. That can be very painful, and that can actually be something that causes us to feel we're never gonna be the same again. Perhaps we won't be. Perhaps we'll be stronger. Perhaps we'll be wiser. Perhaps we'll look for this again. Perhaps we will actually be more guarded. But I think what I'm trying to say is we feel that things won't be the same again. It's much more to do with the fact that we feel that things won't be the same again, and that we're going to feel like this forever. We're not. Okay? We may remember it, but we will navigate it differently, won't we? So it's often comes up when we've had the strength to actually just give it our all, and then out of sheer, utter exhaustion, being overwhelmed and physically, mentally, emotionally challenged or burnt out, that suddenly we experience this. Can be delayed. There's this thing, post-traumatic stress, in all sorts of different ways. It's a pretty good example of what this card actually is, because it's after the event. So I hear readers all the time saying, oh, this is what's going to happen. This person's going to break your heart. What are you talking about? That's why there's 3 there. This, how many times? So remember, I know we're not going to change the world, and I know how it would be easy to fall into that loop. But I think you'll feel a lot better knowing that when you're actually giving somebody a message, you're not projecting this in the future. You're actually telling them they're walking out of this and they're gaining the strength to actually heal in their heart after such an event. So the words and actions of others can often cause such distress that leaves us feeling this profound, heartfelt loss. And it can be affected in any area of our life. But the damage that this card brings can be followed by a lot of sadness and a lot of tears. You'll be feeling hurt, you'll be feeling distraught, you'll be feeling rejected, you'll be feeling alone. You'll be feeling you're the only one, and why me? And the only way forwards is to feel the pain. Easier said than done, I know. But if not, if we keep rejecting it, we're going to stay stuck. And in a lot of cases, what's hurt us, or what's dying out of our lives and fading, even if we're not aware of it, it's a time to cleanse yourself with the tears. And that's what those sheets of rain symbolize. Rather than wasting time trying to regain what's already been lost, you need to give ourselves time to grieve, as often the pain can't be rushed. We can't make sense of it. We're not meant to know everything, are we? So this card's image often speaks volumes about it because it's piercing that dark red heart, and the rain's pouring from that stormy grey sky. Dark, forbidding sort of skies symbolize the terrible stress that we suffered and the conflict that this card is known to bring. But remember that what's causing this is our communication to our own mind, and it's also, how it's affecting us through the heart. Our thoughts affect our emotions, and so the pain that's been expressed by these Three of Swords can lead to lots and lots of confusion, bewilderment, depression, all symbolized by the grey clouds, or a feeling of being depressed, not clinical diagnosis, but feeling depressed, feeling down, feeling blue. It's stressful. Between everything that's happened, there's no getting away from the fact that we've suffered, and it's painful. So hiding behind a blindfold and refusing to take sides or deciding to no longer deal with this is not the way forwards. We must actually honour the feelings that we have of the heartache, of how it can feel when it feels as if someone's literally plunged the dagger through our emotions. And the rain there signifies there is a cleansing. Thunderstorms, downpouring, and it's cleansing the air and washing away the debris so that we have a time to breathe. And the earth will be renewed and refreshed, and so will we. And tears like rain are incredible release of emotion and cleansing in our ability to wash away our sorrow. And we're dealing with the Suit of Swords. Quite often, it can make us feel that we're in conflict and the stress, and they've been building, and it's indicated that the pressure that you've been under has just brought about a whole load of pressure, like a pressure pot brewing, with the emotions and possibly anger. Just remember 3 is a number of development and growth, and eventually you will heal. And the painful truth of the situation will actually be all in the past, like the gods are telling you. So remember that this is a card of the past, like I've been saying. We know it's not easy, but the point is dealing with the emotional side of what's gone on is not the easy bit. The actual bit while it was happening, we're probably so busy trying to deal with the blows and the whacks of what was coming in at the time that you're absolutely now emotionally probably in shock. And as I said, post-traumatic stress almost. And we know that the Suit of Swords deals with communication. So one message in this card is talk about your pain. Don't keep it bottled up. A problem shared is the old saying, is a problem halved, because it gives us different perspective. It allows us to feel heard. It allows us to bring our perception out into a different point where it changes that narrow viewpoint of what we've got. When we keep things to ourselves, the point is that we've only got our own perception, and we can have a very narrow viewpoint. We've got to be careful who we communicate with, choose the person wisely. But when communication breaks down, great misunderstandings can occur. So, what happens is our mind starts to create nasty scenarios, like we're the villain, or we're the villain, or we're the victim, or they are, and we start believing it. And we can waste years and years nursing our pain and blaming others, or speculating, or presuming, and we might have got it all wrong. It's always good seeking the help of maybe a counsellor or a professional or a trusted good friend, or some spiritual advice can illuminate those dark areas in our mind and our emotions. 3 indicates growth, don't forget. It's one of those things where it's the most challenging pain, and it suggests that if there is no pain, there is no gain. We have to go through it. We have to heal. We have to find ourselves somehow and be stronger and wiser. And this is what we're navigating. We all encounter the energies of the Three of Swords at some point in our life, and we'll experience loss, sadness, disappointment on some levels, some extreme levels. And how we deal with it and how we determine it is really what this is all about. Really and truly, it is one of those things where you know that you will get into a much, much better place. The suffering of this card isn't going to continue. Eventually, you are able to deal with that loss, or that anxiety, or that separation, or that disloyalty, the betrayal, that job loss, that exam failure, or even the loss of a friendship or a broken friendship, something like that. It's just one of those things. Don't deny the pain that you've suffered. It will eventually, healing will come. That's what this card is telling you. You must have lived through it. You've experienced its sharpness, and it's washing over you. It's a time to be patient with yourself because you're living through that pain. This is, sometimes people say it very, don't want to dwell on it, but at the same time, just remember that time does heal. And this is a card of having suffered in the past, and this time too will pass. As with the Suit of Swords, everything's about communication, and this card is suggesting that something has caused conflict in the mind that's hurt you very deeply. I will see you on Tuesday, where we will be picking up how we are able to read this card using the Major Arcana and fusing it with the Major Arcana card, and how this meaning can change how you read this card. What I mean there is where it applies. We can talk about positions, we can talk about where it lands, but most of all, we'll be showing you how to actually work it with the main theme of what the Major Arcana is telling us with the Three of Swords. Thank you so much for watching. Just to let me know that you found it helpful, and yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thanks for your company. Swords can be difficult, but just remember what they are. It's communication. And if we deal with the communication in the way that the Tarot's advice can actually bring its advice and guidance into our lives, it can actually feel as if we've got a friend or a bit of support that's just actually impartial advice and giving us the chance to be able to say, hey, you know what? It's starting to feel as if I might be able to navigate the obstacles that I'm feeling. Swords are always sensitive, and I think it's important that we are able to explore the best way when we are doing a reading without sugarcoating it, without a lack of respect, and without actually turning around and being some sort of mystic that predicts the future. We're just actually saying we know the background effects that's going on around, and how do things look going forwards, and what to expect, and what to navigate, and what to actually honour for yourself, possibly, that will do you the best service for yourself. All right? I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.